Ne. Yüzüğü mersen kankama.
Nasıl olsun?
Next one, çağırın second.
Is there men's room around here?
Bathroom?
Look. The other tank.
No. Yes, there.
Aynı dakika yapalım biz. Dikkatin.
Ura.
1, 2, 3. Kareli yaranlarını. Bu seçen şarjını. 2 şarjı var.
Բայց այս սրանց էլ են, այ լավ էլ ակտիվ են։
Չեմ վես ասում կողմն են։
Թռնել են ունե սրանք։
Շատ բարձր չէ, բայց կողմն են։ Պատակալեցի չէ, բայց չեմ վես իրացա, որ չեմ վես։
Բայց ուրեմն վտանգավոր են, որ չեն վես, որտեվ կարող է կախվես, իրանք է ձգվել։
Դեռ մենք սրա մեջ նկարենք ես հեռախոսով։
Acá.
No, acá, que veamos mejor que todo.
Aquí yo creo que ven súper bien.
No, yo veo mejor acá.
Давай, где машина?
Yo me siento ahí arriba.
Это ходим, բայց դեռ արնելու շոն։
Այստեղ են նայելու։
Mira, se están
Լույսը տեղից լավ է, եթե նկարեն քո կարծիքով։
Yeter var. Şimdi
Eso.
var.
Son muy
Biraz yürü. Aynen.
İyi var yani çok balık şartlarken iyi kontrol edilen iyi ne kadar da çıkan ayuva hamte çarçın tako ho trong này rồi internet đi hơn lên Bolivia
ancestors and all of our relations cannot be forgotten. Some say when we have no more needed people, the earth will die. We are the life givers and the heart and soul of the Micosukee people.
Village guided tour starting in 5 minutes. It's number 1 on your map at the Cooking Chicken.
Hello.
Hi.
Hadi bananı tarif et.
Մի րոպե։
Գնում եմ։
Չեն գնում ես ալիգետոր։ Մամա ջան, ես մեկ ահ։ Մի հատ ստեղ նկարի։
Նստանալ, եսա նկարի։
So this reservation is completely exempt from the United States. It's like a country within a country. It has its own public safety, education, healthcare, and even its own government system as well. Now, this village that you're in today, this was a village where a family did live in during the 18 and 1900s. The family who lived here, they were the Tiger family, and they actually moved right next door to another village. So there are villages just like this one where people still live. There are also modern homes, and they have the option of living like this or in a modern home. Now, this is a matriarch society, which means that the women here are the leaders. The women have all the honor and respect because the women are the ones who give the children. So without women, we would have no community here. Each one of these huts that you see is called a tiki. The word tiki means home in the Micosukee language. There are 8 clans in the Micosukee tribe, meaning like 8 big families, anywhere from 20 to over 100 people. There's about 600 to 700 Micosukee here today in the tribe. They don't have to live on the reservation, but there are benefits to living on the reservation, like what I said, the healthcare, safety, and education. Now this is the cooking tiki. This is where all the women will gather and cook together. The women of all ages, but the little girls as young as 5 will watch the elder women cook so that they can learn it throughout their whole lifetime and be able to learn the skill and then teach it to the next generation once they become older. So it's up to the younger generation to learn and the older generation to teach. The cooking tiki has the fire for cooking over and the 2 openings at the top to let the smoke out. We never let this fire go out so that everyone always has a warm fire to come home to. The tiki huts are made out of cypress wood from a cypress tree, and the roof are over 2,500 individual leaves from the cabbage palm tree. It takes about 2 days to build a tiki hut, and they can last up to 10 years long. The reason why they're completely open with no walls is because it's so hot in Florida that we have to have air coming through all the time. This is a dugout canoe. What that means is that this canoe is completely carved out by hand. This started off as a big log of cypress wood, just the same thing as the tiki huts are made out of. Now before the Micosukee had access to steel, metal, or iron tools, they would use sharpened bones and rocks to carve out the canoe. So it would take a very long time, anywhere from over 6 months to 2 years long. Now there are holes poked in the canoe on purpose, 3 at the one end, 3 in the middle, and 3 at the other end. That's so that when we take that little piece of wood out, we can put it in each one of the holes to make sure the wood is completely level all the way through. So that's how you would measure the wood. Once this is completely even, you put the hole back in with the same piece of wood, but with animal hide wrapped around it to seal it shut. This is where you keep all your cooking ingredients, your fruits, vegetables, flour, oil, water. Anything you wouldn't want the animals getting to goes under a heavy wooden box just like this one. It's super heavy so that the animals can't push to get under it to get to the food. The wind can't knock it over. Then it's placed on a table raised above the ground for protection from flooding and even more protection from animals. And this is a dining room table, so that's why we call this the eating tiki, because this is like the dining room. If you have a modern home, this will be like the dining room. Okay. Okay, so these are some wood carvings. These are just traditional wood carving toys that the little boys would play with, wooden spoons, little canoes. Now all of this is carved out of cypress wood, except for the bows, which are these, and the stickball rackets. These are carved from willow. Willow is more flexible than cypress. It can be bent like you see here. And this is cypress. They're both very light wood. If you guys want to pick up anything, you can, and feel how light it is. You can pass it around if you want. Now it was the men who would teach the little boys how to carve the wood. So the uncles, the grandfathers, and the fathers would all teach the men this art. The little boys would make their own tools and toys to play with and then get them ready for when they would be going out hunting. Now, when a man and woman get married, you don't marry within your clan, you marry from one of the other 7 clans, because your clan is your family. When the man and woman get married, the man has to present the mother-in-law with a gift, usually a wooden spoon. And he doesn't have to say it, but when he gives her gift, it means he will keep and support her daughter and their new family together. Now these rackets right here, these are from the game called stickball. This is played boys versus girls. It's a full contact sport, and it's kind of like lacrosse, but instead of holding one racket, you hold 2 rackets, you scoop up the ball and then fling it against a tree to get 1 point. The first one to 5 points is the winner. And the game usually will last for over 3 hours. All kinds of different beads. Now for most cultures, big beads like this are more prominent. This is Miccosukee beadwork with many strands using the traditional colors. Doesn't have to be the traditional colors, can be any colors, but usually bigger beads. And then other cultures will do very tiny beads like what you see here. The woman who sits here, she's Navajo, so she has a little bit of a different style. Very tiny beads like this. These fire colors, these are traditional for Navajo, whereas these are the traditional Miccosukee colors. This material right here, if you guys want to feel it, this is deer hide, kind of like a leather, and this is what most of the native tribes made their clothing out of before the cloth clothing that's worn today. And even before beads like this, you would make beads out of little rocks, seeds from trees, nuts, shells, porcupine quills also because they're already hollowed out, gemstones, any little thing that you can soak in berries to dye them and turn them into a bead. Sleeping, Chiki? Now the whole family actually sleeps in one bed. The mom, the dad, and their children, they all share the same bed just so that they know where each other are at nighttime. They don't have to worry that their children are not safe. It's just safer for them to all be together. The bed is made out of wood, so it's nice and firm. It's raised above the ground for more protection from animals and flooding while you're sleeping. Now this is a mosquito net. This goes over the bed and the baby's hammock. And then the baby will sleep in the hammock from the time they're born till about 3 or 4 years old.
They sleep in one bed. How they grow up?
How do they what?
How their family grows up.
Whenever the kids are not around, I mean, you don't necessarily have to only do that at night. And they don't have to do it in the bed either. So use your imagination. This is the root of the palmetto tree. This material here is called palmetto fiber, and it peels right off of the stalk of the palmetto fiber, or of the palmetto root. And this is the material that the Indian dolls are made out of. So this is a little palmetto fiber doll. Now before cloth, they would just be the palmetto fiber, and the cloth clothing came around about 100, 150 years ago, so it's actually pretty recent for the Miccosukee. The palmetto fiber is also what goes on the bottom of the sweetgrass baskets. This is called sweetgrass because the grass is very dry and sweet, and it smells naturally sweet, but when you burn it, it smells almost like incense because it has such a nice natural smell to it. This little one is just out here to show you an example, but the bigger baskets are used for transporting fruits and vegetables from your garden back to your camp. He's been doing it for about the past 8 years, and Evan learned the wood carving from his father. The tools that he uses were a gift given to him by another wood carver, and everything that you see here is carved from cypress wood, except for the rackets, which are made out of willow. So Evan grew up here on the Miccosukee reservation, and he went to the school. He grew up here and went to the school that we have on the reservation, where the children learn what children would learn at any other school, but also part of their culture is also incorporated into it. So it's up to the younger generation to show interest in the crafts that were done by their ancestors and keep the traditions going. That's why Evan does it, to support his culture.
Evan is real.
Very good. there's a canoe, the cheeky huts, and the wood carvings. Cypress usually grows in water. Because we've done reconstruction here, it's no longer sitting in water, so it will take it a very long time to grow. Cypress is unique because it has these little roots that stick above the ground. They help to spread the tree out, balance, and also hold moisture inside. The roots can be separated from the tree very far, up to 50 feet, and sometimes they're covered in grass. So as the men are walking through the Everglades, they don't see them, and then they bang their knee on it. So that's why we call this the cypress knee. If you've ever heard the roots, they're usually called the cypress knees. Now what they mean are actually north, south, east, and west. The black is west, the red is north, the east is the yellow, and the white is the south. So they represent the 4 directions, and they also represent the cycle of life. The yellow is the beginning, when the fruit is fresh. The red is the middle, when the fruit is bruised. The black is the end, when the fruit spoils, and the white is a new fruit for a new beginning. So they represent the directions and the cycle of life. Now this alligator here, the way to say alligator in the Micosukee language is pronounced hapatet. So this was a real hapatet. He lived during the 1900s. He was used in a movie called Joe Panther, filmed in the Everglades in the 1970s. Now when they were done filming, we were able to acquire this alligator, and he lived the remainder of his life here at the Miccosukee village. We did alligator wrestling shows with him, and he died 9 years ago from old age. He was over 100 years old. Alligators do live very long lives. They're experts at surviving. They've been around since the time of the dinosaurs. Alligators are mostly made up of muscle, so they are very strong. Everything they eat automatically, about half of it just automatically turns into muscle, so they don't even have to work out. They have it pretty good. The alligators are actually afraid of people. Out in the wild, they do have a natural fear of people. They want to run the opposite direction. It's only when people try to feed the wild alligators that we really have accidents. That's pretty much the only time you could ever get into an accident with the alligators, because it's just, they don't want to come to you, but if you have food, of course they're going to come towards you. The way the Micosukee use the alligators and why there's so much respect for them is because the alligator's hide is used for selling and trading. The alligator's meat is edible. It tastes really good, like chicken. Alligator wrestling shows, which you guys are about to see, and their bones for making weapons and jewelry. Okay, so thank you guys for coming on the tour with me. You have a little bit of time right now to check out our videos.